Hi, Hemanth.
Hi, Shanti.
So we're doing Node.js server setup on Linux VM today.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Shanti. So we'll do a walkthrough on how we can install this Node.js web server on Linux virtual machine via Azure portal. So for this is the agenda. I'll show you the AI prompt that I used to provide with a script which has all the steps that need to follow as part of this demo. And we'll also see what activities that I have performed as part of this demo. Here we can see I have to create a resource group, then create a virtual machine, and connect, set up some connection via SSH, as it will be a Linux virtual machine. And at the end, once the setup is done, also install Node.js on the VM and verify the Node.js is up and running. So let me show you the prompt that was used. So here I told Gemini that I want to create a Node.js server using Linux VM. Please provide Azure portal steps, assume without any infrastructure as code, so that I can follow the steps and have the task completed. So I have pasted the script also as part of the PPT file. So let's go back. Okay. So this is a prompt followed by the script link. So once we open Azure portal, basically search for a resource group. Under resource group, we basically provide or create a new resource group for this demo. Here I gave node-rg. Basically for any resource group, we give a proper naming convention by giving a suffix with -rg. That way we can easily identify the name of the what all resources will be allocated as part of this resource group. Then we go ahead and search in the search bar for a virtual machine. That gives us this window where we can provide some details related to the name of the virtual machine, the zone or region where we will be hosting this, what kind of disk we will be using, what image. Here I'm picking Ubuntu flavor for Linux version. LTS is basically long-term support. That means it does not have any or very minimal errors, and we should be able to perform our tasks. And I also selected the resource group that recently created, which is node-rg. And now we can see if there's any virtual network this resource VM will be part of. So I gave a it basically suffixed my virtual machine name with VNet, which is virtual network. That means the idea of virtual network is for the resources to communicate between each other. So if, say, for example, we have one virtual network and there are 3 resources, and the 3 resources can connect with each other or communicate with each other with private IP addresses. They don't need to be assigned public IP address. So that way we can also add some securities here by subnetting the virtual network, providing network security group. That's an additional security setup. It's like a firewall. So we'll go over those in detail in the coming demos. So for now, we can see subnet has already been assigned. and there'll be public IP that will be assigned as part of VM creation as well. Coming to ports, I'm selecting SSH and also HTTP. For this ports will be open for any communication to happen from the VM to the outside internet world. That means any traffic are allowed for incoming traffic is allowed through ports 22 and HTTP 80. Okay, so after providing all those details, now the validation is passed and the VM will be created. So this is an SSH key pair that is generated as a public private pair. So private key is only generated once. So this is the time where you want to store it. If you want to connect through either native SSH, so I'm storing this. Okay, so you can see now as part of VM creation, there are a few other dependent resources that will be created also, which will be like a IP address, network interface, network security group, virtual network. So all these resources will be created, and you can see the new IP address that's allocated for this virtual machine. So now we basically validate and see we are able to connect to this VM from command line interface. So we'll go ahead and click select. You can see now there's using SSH command, we can connect to the virtual machine. And the connection is established. So now we are basically updating the existing packages and keeping the VM ready without any outdated versions. So we'll update that before installing the Node.js web server. So now you can see Node.js has been installed, and yeah, that's the end. So now we'll actually do the same steps or perform the same steps on the Azure portal. So we'll go ahead. We'll create a resource group first. So this is for Node.js. I already have something similar, so I'll name this as Node-js1-rg. I'll go ahead. I'm not adding any tags. I'll go to review and create. Validation is passed. So I'm going to click on create. It's pretty fast. So the resource group is now created. We'll go ahead and search for a virtual machine and create a new virtual machine. So subscription, we have only one subscription that is already selected. Resource group will pick from the one that we recently created, Node.js 1 virtual machine. I'll say node hyphen ubuntu hyphen vm. Okay, there's none. So availability option, availability zone will be in this case with no infrastructure. That's a minimal version that I'm selecting. So images, you have many. You can use Windows, Ubuntu. So for this demo, I'm going ahead and selecting long-term support, the latest version of Ubuntu. You can also see the price estimate on the right, which is almost $75 per month. If you go for spot, I think this will even come down to even like $15, $13. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, virtual and I'll go ahead. Eviction capacity, I'll keep it capacity only. Stop or duplicate is the eviction policy I selected. Size, I'm gonna find something here that is available. Okay, we have selected one virtual CPU with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So I'll go ahead. Connection authentication type would be SSH, and I'll update this username with my name. And key pair doesn't um, bother much if it's RSA or ED. It's they both use the public private key encryption. So I'll keep this as it is. Here, the selected ports, I can also add HTTP, and I'll go to the next navigation tab. The disk size per TGB is the lowest, so it remains. Disk from premium, which is the high end, I'm going to basically select a standard or a basic version. This is important. You want to delete the virtual machine once. You want to delete the disk when you actually delete virtual machine, so that you're not incurring cost accidentally. So this is good that it has by default checked. So I'll go ahead and go to the networking tab. Here, the virtual network is also been selected. Subnet is also provided. So basically it's saying that um, public IP will be also be provided once VM is ready. Network security group, I provided basic. Okay, allowed ports are from the previous selections, they remain as it is. And you also want to delete IP address and also NIC when the VM is deleted, especially when you're on a free version. You have a limit of uh, 3 IPs to use, and after that you have to delete the existing one manually. So this would take away that extra task from us. So I'm go ahead and go to the next one, management. I'm not changing anything here. Backups, auto shutdown. This is a good option too. This is actually Azure recommended um, option, auto shutdown. So I'm going to select shutdown time. I usually log out by, so it's already almost 11. So I'll keep it say 11:45 p.m. time zone. You can go to EST. It is available. Yeah, US and Canada, this is Central Time. Okay, I'm going to select this. On where is this? US and Canada. Atlantic Time. I want to see the Central Time. Oh, I didn't miss US and Pacific Time. I can see Mountain Time. US and Canada Central Time. Eastern Time. Yes, this is what I was looking for. Okay, I found it. And the rest remains same. I go ahead and go to the next tab, which is monitoring. This can also remain the same. Advanced. If you need any queries to run, this is where you can provide the custom data. That means when you're booting your virtual machine, it will pick up those uh, scripts from here. Bootstrapping can happen if required. That something can be done from this option. Remaining, I'll go ahead and validate. So it's making sure that I have provided all the required fields to before it generates virtual machine. We'll give it some time. Okay, the validation passed. I'll go ahead and create the virtual machine. Okay, do you want to download the private key and create resource? Okay, I'll go ahead. I'll save as downloads. Okay. Okay, now the deployment started. So it's basically Azure portal is now creating these dependency resources for us, generating IP address, network interface, network security group, virtual network. You'll be seeing all those now being created. Um, okay. So all of those are ready, and once we connect to the virtual machine, when you come back in the deployment details, you will see an additional resource which says as disk. For now, you won't be able to see in the first deployment complete. Okay, so you can check that. Now let's connect to this VM. You can see this is ready state. There's also a public address that has been assigned. Okay, let's connect to this VM now. So you have couple of options to select either through command line interface or native SSH. I'll go ahead with command line interface. Run some validation. Okay, select the checkbox and configure and connect. So basically, unlike other web servers, Node.js is mostly used for running JavaScripts. So basically, we have this front end and back end code. So to avoid or to burden the web server to handle the traffic for front end data and also for the back end, um, it actually made it easier and faster through this JavaScript where even the front end can be managed as part of backend. That way it's more efficient and faster. And many of the top giant MNC companies, they use Node.js web servers for this fast responsive um, to handle JavaScripts to run those code from backend. Okay, now it's trying to connect. So what it will try is basically um, with the SSH command will provide the details of the virtual machine, the subscription ID and the resource group name, saying I want, please connect me to this virtual machine now. So I'll say yes. Okay, now you can see the prompt has changed from just my name to basically the name, host name, and also the user ID, which is my email ID here. So now first I'll verify with the help of sudo apt, which is an advanced package toolkit command, to verify if there are any pending updates for this. Okay, all packages are up to date, and that is good. So now we'll go ahead and install um, the Node.js. Install Node.js. Okay. Oh, it's it's not .js. Once again, I'm looking for this. No, there's no dot actually. That's why it said this. To put .js. Okay. Now it's saying basically for installing this web server, then additional 54 MB that is required, and asking for permission. I say yes. Now all the existing libraries, the Debian files are being extracted, and it's saying that all those existing services are all up to date. That means the Node.js is up and running. So unlike earlier, before we ran or we install Apache web server. So for those, you basically get the IP address, launch from URL, and see that it's up and running. But in this case, we'll verify by creating a small test file with the command called nano, and we can give a file name, say test.js. Like this. So this opens a command. Here we can provide some variable name and say, second, if I can find something related to this. There should be hello world program for this. Let me find something. Node.js world. Okay, it's a pretty detailed steps, but for now, let me look at the PPTs, how it shows, which example how it shows. Otherwise, I have to go back to the previous example from the previous version where I have a test Node.js or a test.js file. Let me go back to the FHL. Okay, instead of let me duplicate this. I am connecting the previous instance of similar Node.js. I'm trying to find that example. It's one line example so that we can see this web server Node.js is up and running. Letting, okay. I don't have to execute all the steps. All I need to do is once it's connected to the VM, I'm going to open the file nano test.js. Okay. So I think I opened it too early. I'll say yes. Okay. Let's go back. Nano index.js. Okay, this file is also empty. I think it takes a while for this file to show because in the previous instance, I have used these two files, basically did some trial and error. Okay, I think we can see that the Node.js is up and running. I just wanted one program to show that that way we can also double verify that the web server is up and running.
Do you have any web page for that?
For the web page, I have to have an small application like this, saying hello world, and then basically assign an IP address and try to ping. That's one way.
You have already one public IP in the VM, right?
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
configure that web server to have web page in Node.js and get that URL.
I can't directly ping, right, like this. I really doubt if for um, Node.js we can do this. We can try, because yeah, it has to be from the file, I believe, unless there's another
You
workaround
need
like
to configure. You need to
yes,
configure that
mm,
setup, HTML setup, right?
HTML setup.
It
Yes,
is a server, basically Node.js server, right? You
correct,
configure, right?
correct,
So it should have public access also.
right,
That is fine, but
mm,
in reality, you can use it as a web server also, right?
correct.
Hmm. So that is fine. Now, for
Mm,
now, I'll stop
okay,
recording.